Zodwa. That's why I play the lotto 4 times a week, Temba replied. Where the hell is this heat wave coming from, folks? I mean, I burned in the last 3 days, like badly. If you cannot recognize me at this moment, I won't blame you. As the Afrikaners would say, black Sam. I mean, I'm like, I don't even feel. Well, that's what it is. Good evening and welcome to Opportunity Tuesday on Talk with Rams Live. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's Talk with Rams on all the platforms. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for following, subscribing, and liking our platforms. This remains the most powerful 30 minutes of digital content, without a doubt, even if I say so myself. Today's Opportunity Tuesday is about innovators, disruptors, visionaries, my kind of entrepreneurs. First on the quickie, we meet a young woman. When I say young, very carefully here, because she's only younger than me, who has just launched a Zulu online publication that carries economics, labor, agriculture, SME profiles, among others. And then in our main interview, the feature interview, we meet a man who's responded to COVID-19 by starting a business of affordable food to address the after effects of this pandemic. You and I know how many more people lost their jobs. We know how many people are poor in this country, living beyond the bread line. And he has seen this opportunity in his business, and we shall meet him later. But first, we're going to be talking with Slee. We look forward to your participation via Twitter at TalkwithRams1, YouTube and Instagram with Rams. Send us WhatsApp voice note on 067-271-8239. Only voice notes, folks. No new text. I can't read. So let's meet Slindile Khanyile, co-founder of Likhanyile Media, publishers of Umbele, the new online publication of the Slee. Good evening.
Good evening, Rams. And thank you for.
So, who does something new in this space again? What happened?
Okay, so basically, one has actually had ideas for niche publications for some time because I have a print background. And I was part of mainstream until the end of July this year. And but because when I was employed, I'd actually risen to senior management because by the time I left, I was the editor of Isolezo. I worked for independent newspapers. It would have been conflict of interest. So, when you're employed, you get these ideas which you think, I know they wouldn't work here, but also you can't really implement them, especially when you are privy to the company strategy, because rightly or wrongly, perception is everything. When hit, it just exacerbated, the challenges in mainstream media. For me personally, who's also a journalist. So he had already been running the company for 6 years, but not doing main journalism, content generation and translations. And we've always had the idea that we'd like to, work together eventually and try and grow the company. So it made sense. There was really whatever security that I was holding on to at work was eroded by COVID-19. And believe it or not, this is also really a quest to remain a journalist, because I honestly felt if I pretty soon, it will be difficult to actually maintain my job. We had also taken huge salary cuts. So there was really nothing to kind of fear anymore, so to speak. So it made sense, and yeah.
So isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing that even situations of desperation and even danger can be opportunities? Could be do this anyway. My back is against the wall. Where else can I run to?
Exactly, and that's what everyone kept asking. But are you sure about the timing? Because you'd recall, there are quite a number of publications, old publications, especially magazine titles, that have closed down, and and newspapers was not company. So that it really makes sense at this time for me, because as I say, we hold on and not do things or try things because there's that full-time COVID change and better time than now to actually try this and just see if it works or not. Of course, initially when as they were on online, in an environment where the economy is growing and you have a really strong financial backup, it would still work even as a print title, I believe that, but just not in this environment where the economy is flat.
Okay, now tell us about Umbele. Tell us about this public. Who is it aimed at? What is it trying to achieve?
Umbele is really trying to plug a gap which we believe exists, where economics and politics touch everything. Really, our lives revolve around those things, but you find that with economics and business, it has really become kind of an exclusive club, and the information really, has become the preserve of a very few. So we are trying to address that, where we're saying, let's make this information accessible. And we do believe that the route we've taken, which is going the vernacular or using an indigenous language, which is, isiZulu, and it is the widely spoken language in South Africa. Stats SA says 23% of the population speaks isiZulu. That will then be making it much more accessible, but by also using online, other than the fact that because online is not capital intensive, we're also saying that that section of the population which will largely prefer to consume their news in isiZulu will also become even more familiar with what solutions technology offers, because again, we have these conversations about 4IR and technology, but they remain really just above people's heads, and they remain accessible again to very few privileged people. So we're trying to address all those things, and of course we're hoping that we will change ownership patterns as well of media organizations in South Africa. And that's another beautiful thing about online and technology, that it makes it easy to also make people own things, because I can tell you, if we were trying this as a newspaper, it would take us forever to get it off the ground. Yeah.
What is this supposed to do for the audience? What are you offering them over and above the content? What is the soft, touchy, feely thing that you're offering? Me as the consumer, assuming yourself is Zulu, which I don't know.
Well, Rams, what we are really offering is news that you will not ordinarily find in publications that are currently available, be they, in isiZulu or even in English for that matter, because one, we are not driven by breaking news. So while, everyone else may be rushing to report what the president said about the recovery plan on the actual day and even be tweeting, blah, blah, blah. Well, we may tweet as well, for example, but what we then try and do is to then take those issues further. For example, last week, we had a feature on the growth of the TV and film industry in KwaZulu-Natal. Every quarter, or I stand to be corrected, you get these audience numbers that tell you that X number of people watch Uzalo or X number of people watch Umbele, and that it's growing, blah, blah, blah. But that's all it is. But what that actually means for the province, what that means, because typically people go to Joburg from KZN or, other provinces to find opportunities. But these numbers are actually saying that these opportunities now exist and you do not have to necessarily relocate to Gauteng. So we try and do in-depth stories like that. We've done stories looking at, for example, the growth of the self-publishing industry, which is dominated by young Black women, So you will find those kind of stories. And, you'll also find SMME profiles who we acknowledge SMMEs who are barely, who have barely started. For example, we featured two sisters who sell cakes, and they started with a 5-liter bucket of scones, and they've now grown. But we also feature, the ones like this week we have Untutugo from the Livestock Wealth, which a lot of people know. Yes, so we try and balance, but we also try and bring the established entrepreneurs. So we also feature those. We do our executive profiles. Last week, for example, we had Ubabu Ruel Koza, which a lot of people would not expect to find in an isiZulu publication.
Yes.
But we did. And we've spoken to the former finance minister, to say, what are you up to now? Yes, yes, you left under the circumstances that you left under, but, does it mean you are just languishing at home? And interestingly, he's actually very busy, and so you'll find that, and you'll hear these people talking where we can, when we are featuring people who speak isiZulu. We also use podcasts. So you'll also hear them speaking. So we're saying, if you're lazy to read through the story, it's fine. Then just click on the podcast and you can hear, and we unpack these things for you. And we try and really just also not fall into PR traps.
Yes.
Though you will know there are a lot of them.
So you remain a source of journalism. So you don't fall into PR traps.
No. It's journalism proper, and that's another thing that we're trying, because you will find that a lot of perhaps African or publications that are aimed at African people, when they cover business, they would focus largely on SMME, and it makes sense because that population, that's really a lot of us Black people remain emerging entrepreneurs, and we stay small. That's for a long time. It makes sense. But what we are saying is you actually have to understand, as you will have a section of the population saying that we have to worry about our debt to GDP ratio. What that means for you, what it means, how it impacts you when your union is negotiating a salary, what it means when we have to top up social, how everything interlinks and how everything is interdependent. And we have to, I think that's why I said it also at the beginning, that it's, politics and economics are so interlinked. And I think if you get that, you will understand better the political ideologies, and you will most likely make better electoral choices when you vote, and you will not fall for political speak. Able to look at those things and just understand them. I mean, for example, it's very easy to just think, I remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, FNB announced that anyone and everyone can own Apple, Netflix shares and blah, 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 blah through a 10 Rand ETN. But thinking, but surely it can't be, it doesn't make sense. What does it mean? And you're just thinking, what was not really stressed and highlighted enough, which we did through the story that we did when we followed up, was also that just remember though, you are still going to be playing in the stock exchange. There are still risks, and these are the risks that you must anticipate, and there are charges with these things. Don't just think things with other schemes. Of course, it's not necessarily the same, but today you have people not understanding what has happened with their Sasol shares and their MTN Zakhele shares, because
I'm gonna have to stop you.
There's just PR around it, and
I'm gonna have to stop you because the viewers are going to kill me. We're supposed to chat for maximum 10 minutes, but I was indulging. I was speaking to a fellow media person. It was always gonna happen. So one final question, Slee. On which platform are you? Are you where do we get you? Is it a website? Is it an app? What's the platform that you use?
We are on a website, and our link is www.umbele.likhanyiletm.co.za. We do have a Facebook page, which is also Umbele Likhanyile TM. So is on Facebook, we share our links, and then those links will lead you to our website.
Excellent. An online version, at least a visual version of the print that you do. And I was speaking at a National Press Club event on Monday, and I said to them, if they don't digitize, they must forget about where media is going. They must just wake up to the reality that the world is digital. So thank you for vindicating me within 2 days. No, it was yesterday. You vindicated me. I spoke yesterday in this event. Thank you for vindicating me. All the best to Umbele. And I know it will make it. It will make it because it's right. It's in the right time. And it speaks to 23% of the population of this country. It can't go wrong.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. Well done. All the best. We shall follow you. And you know what? We'll find synergies to syndicate our own content so that we work together.
Let's do that. I think there definitely are synergies. Thank you, Bud.
Have a great evening further, and well done to you and your hubby.
Thank you very much, Rams. Keep well.
Cheers. Folks, when we come back after this short break, we meet a social entrepreneur who's feeding the nation in many ways than one. You don't want to miss it because there is an opportunity for you there.
Many of us, and perhaps most of us, have dreams to reach the top. But the first summit to climb in any journey is knowing yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, and your blind spots. Before you can conquer any voyage, you need to first prepare the voyager. So why don't you join the Talk with Rams live webinar on the journey to self-discovery with our resident personal coach, Dr. Thando Sebanda. For only 350 Rand, you can buy your ticket to getting ready to achieve your success. Be part of this interactive 2 hours where Dr. T will be able to give you tools fit for your journey. Register on admin@talkwithrams.com or else uzoyithola kanjani.
Right. So the concept of a boundary is not so much as keeping stuff out as much as clarifying what's in. Boundaries help you clarify your freedom. You can be yourself. You can be the best you can be because you understand the threshold of your influence and your abilities.
I love the story of Umbele. I do. I know it can go. Of those things that cannot go wrong. The time has come for stuff like that, and I hope you support it. I hope you support it because it is the right thing, not because I say so. It is the right thing to support. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on and meet somebody who's doing something remarkable. Shaheen Hussein is a social entrepreneur. He describes himself as an entrepreneur by nature and humanitarian by choice, who values humility and sincerity. On the He's founder of Quality Wholesome Food, specifically formulated according to the nutritional guidelines of the World Health Organization of Social Development South Africa. And that is very important, folks. We all try things. We all have people who are, I don't want to call them tricksters and shysters, but when somebody says to me, they're making me food according to the guidelines of World Health Organization, I don't only relax, I want to eat the food because I know I'm in safe hands. Made to be affordable and easily accessible to non-profits, non-government organizations, feeding schemes, wholesale business sector, retail business sector, informal trade sector, blah, 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 blah. This food is on the market as we speak, just got in because the man is a visionary. He joins us this evening. Shaheen, good evening, mate.
Tara. Hi, my brother. Thank you very much.
Dark and lovely. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for joining me at such short notice, but for me not to get you here.
No, Rams, it was a pleasure meeting you today. It's always nice to meet people who share the vision of making a difference, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, mate. So tell us about wholesome food, quality wholesome food.
Right, so let's start with the name. The name is Everyday Food. And you know, this is, like you said, it's a new business. It's just started. And the reason for that is this year has been a very challenging year. Yes. This is the third business I've decided to do because with COVID, the first business was a training business and there were no corporates to train, you know? So what I did was I looked at South Africa and I asked myself, what is a serious problem that we have in this country? And then it jumped out at me. 1 in 5 South Africans go to bed hungry every day. 4 million jobs have been lost during this period. And my brother, you know what black tax is. If 4 million people have lost, it means more than 4 million people are not eating.
Yeah.
And as I experienced difficulty myself, you know, without an income for a few months, I had to start to budget to buy food. And as I went out there, I looked in the stores and I realized that healthy, nutritional food is not very cheap.
It's actually the most expensive. It's junk food that is cheap.
100%. And with 4 million people losing their jobs, more than that not eating, 20% of our population hungry, I didn't do. And that's when I decided to go and find a food chemist, and we put together a few products, a porridge, soup, and a meal in a bag. Right? We're starting there. We are going to be making more products. Africa to participate with us because the answer to our problems, people. That way we take accountability and responsibility for moving forward together, you know?
And this food, Shaheen, that you guys developed and produced is food that can feed a family.
100 packets. And let me just give you a perspective. A 250 gram packet our porridge. A 250 gram packet of our soup. People a full bowl, you know, a full bowl. So what we did was we positioned, because of the seriousness of this issue. If everybody had food every day to eat, in my opinion, there'd be less crime. There'd be less people doing things they don't want to do because they have to look at their children crying. There'd be, you know, if you as a man cannot provide for your family, you know, you start to think, what can I do? And you do what you have to rather than what you want to. So, you know, the idea is to, together with everybody in the country, have a collective impact for the collective good of everybody.
Wow. So, how do you get the food to market?
Right. That is very interesting. So we creating innovative ways of getting the food to the market. And because of my personal experience in the non-profit sector and this feeling of service to the people of our country, there are many ways. Of course, the easy, simple ways is we'll be going through to those people like organizations who are and give them an alternative so that they can give our people healthy food. Launching a website soon where you'll be able to order online. And we'll also be using distribution channels in township areas for people who are currently distributing. We have a very, very creative one that I know is going to excite you as well as your viewers. We have a model that we are busy finalizing at the moment called the Township Difference Maker. You see, I must believe that like me, there are other people in our country who want to make a difference, who want to feed the nation, who understand what it's like to be hungry. And if I feel that way, and there are other people out there who feel that way, we are creating an opportunity, bearing in mind the 4 million jobs that have been lost as well, for people to earn additional revenue by becoming distributors and resellers of the food.
Wow.
So in that way, they are making a difference in the lives of those people who.
Yes, you know, I know young people who be caught between matric and post-matric education. They can't get into post-matric because there's no money, or for whatever reason, they can't go back to school. This could be their opportunity to go and find in their community people who can use this food to survive. But the young person in their own life in distributing this food.
100% Rams. And not only that, what we will do is we won't just give them the opportunity. We will hold their hand, teach them, and learn what they learn so that together with them, we can revise the product, improve the solution, and come up with our own solutions for our own people.
I'm loving this because here you saw a problem and you did what is in business. But for me, which is what we do, is you are now turning this into an opportunity for many other people. Somebody in KZN listening to us, somebody in Mpumalanga, somebody in Kuruman could then say, I need to speak to Shaheen because I've got these networks. I've been wanting to get into business. But not only that, this man is going to handhold me to help me become an entrepreneur.
Not only handhold them, Rams, God willing, if I get it right, we will also empower them with incentives that they have not even imagined. But I'm not going to say too much. I want to keep some things as we unfold, you know.
I know that. That's what entrepreneurs do. We don't give all at the same time.
I think the important thing to note right now is that the food is of high quality. So we're not trying to just put out a product in the market. We want to put out a product that is good for our people, for healthy brain development, for healthy organ development, for healthy human development and growth. So that you can think, you can't teach a hungry child, Rams.
No.
You know, it's you know, I mean, you know, there's a story of a lady who was very, very hungry and she was forced to come up with a creative way as well to survive. We want to take that situation away from people where they're forced to do things. They must do things because they are able to do so, because they are healthy to do so.
I knew I had to meet you, mate. So those that want to buy the food, those that want to be your partners and distribute with you, how do they get hold of quality foods?
Everyday foods.
Everyday food.
Say it again, everyday foods.
Everyday food.
Because people must eat every day.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you know, if you eat every day, why must people who are less fortunate not eat every day?
How do we get hold of you, Shaheen?
Right. So at the moment, our website is almost ready. It will be ready hopefully by next week. For now, on Instagram, we are everydayfood.co.za. On Facebook, we are everydayfood.co.za. You can email me on info@everydayfood.co.za, or you can email me on differencemaker@everydayfood.co.za.
We are going to repeat all those details here. Unfortunately, I have run out of time, but thank you for this opportunity, Shaheen. All the best with the business, and we shall meet again soon.
God willing, definitely. All right, Rams.
From me,
take
Rams
care.
Mabote, good night and God bless.